mind is everything. What you think, you become. Let me tell you something real quick. The difference between where you are right now and where you want to be, it ain't your background. It ain't your money. It ain't your connections. It's your mindset, your thoughts, your belief system. What you think every single day, that's what you become. See, the world is full of people with dreams, but no discipline, full of talent, but no tenacity. And you know why? Because their mind is still locked in survival mode when they should be thinking in legacy mode. Your mindset determines your reality. Everything you experience, everything you go after, every level you reach in life, it all starts in the mind. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. You can't rise above the limits you place on yourself mentally. The way you think will either build you or break you. If your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and excuses, then don't expect your life to be filled with strength, confidence, or results. That's not how this works. The mind is everything, and what you think, you truly become. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll start living like you're not. You'll walk like it, talk like it, and miss opportunities because you've already disqualified yourself in your mind. On the other hand, if you tell yourself you're built for this, if you believe you have what it takes, even if you don't see the outcome yet, you'll start moving different. You'll show up with a different energy, a different level of effort, a different hunger. That shift happens in your thoughts, not your circumstances. See, most people are trapped not by their situation, but by their mind. They've convinced themselves that they can't break out, so they never try. It's not the system holding them back, it's their belief system. They've settled into a mental prison, and they're holding the key in their own hand. But they won't use it because they've accepted the lie that this is all they'll ever be. But the truth is, if you change your mind, you can change your life. You've got to stop feeding your mind junk. You can't expect growth if all you feed your brain is negativity, self-doubt, and fear. You become what you consume, what you watch, what you listen to, the people you surround yourself with. All of that influences your mindset. And if your mindset is off, everything else will be off too. You can't run a race with a broken compass. You've got to reprogram your thinking to match where you want to go, not where you've been. Your mind is a weapon, but it can also be your worst enemy if you don't train it. Just like you train your body in the gym, you've got to train your thoughts daily. You can't just hope you'll think positive. You can't just wish your mindset would change. It takes intentional effort. You've got to wake up and decide every single day that your mind is going to work for you, not against you. That you're going to speak life into your goals. That you're going to see yourself as worthy of greatness before the world ever sees it in you. People want success without the mental work. They want the results without the inner grind. But success starts with what you think when no one's watching. It starts when you wake up and no one believes in you but you. It starts when you're tired, when you're doubting, when you're scared, but you still tell yourself, I'm not quitting. That's the mind game. That's the battle. And it's not about lying to yourself. It's about telling the truth before it's visible. Telling yourself you're capable before you've proven it. Speaking like you've already won before the scoreboard reflects it. That's not delusion, that's power. That's how champions are made. They win in their minds long before they win in the world. The difference between a person who rises and a person who stays stuck isn't always talent. It's mindset. It's who keeps showing up, who keeps believing, who keeps pushing even when the world says stop. That grit starts in the mind, that relentless energy. It's not physical first, it's mental. You don't get up at 5 a.m. every day because you feel like it. You get up because your mind is locked in on the mission. Your future is shaped by the thoughts you hold today. You're either planting seeds of greatness or you're planting seeds of limitation. And whatever you plant, that's what's going to grow. You can't expect a harvest of purpose if your thoughts are full of doubt. You can't expect a future of power if your mind is living in the past. So if you want to change your life, stop looking around. Start looking within. It's not about what's happening out there, it's about what's happening in your head. Because the mind is everything, and what you think, you become. Thoughts shape identity. Think small, live small. Who you believe you are becomes who you are. Not because of fate, not because the world labeled you, but because you accepted those thoughts as truth. Your identity is not something you're born with, it's something you build, piece by piece, thought by thought. If the mind is everything, then what you tell yourself, what you believe, what you allow to take up space in your mind, that becomes your reality. It becomes your life. People walk around every day carrying thoughts that were never theirs to begin with. Maybe someone told them they wouldn't make it. Maybe they failed once, and now they believe they're a failure. Maybe they've never seen anyone break through from where they come from, so they start thinking small because that's all they've seen. And what happens when you think small? You start living small. You stop taking chances. You avoid risk. You choose comfort over calling. You talk yourself out of dreams because your mind is stuck on survival, not growth. It all starts in your thoughts. You think you're average, you live average. You think you're not worthy, and you start settling for less. You think success is for other people, and you never chase what's yours. You become the person you constantly describe in your mind. If you walk around saying, "I'm not good with people," you start avoiding conversations. If you say, "I'm not disciplined," you stop trying to build habits. If you constantly tell yourself, "This is just who I am," then you never allow yourself to grow into who you could be. The mind is not just a mirror reflecting your reality. It's a canvas painting it. Your thoughts paint your actions. Your actions create your habits. And your habits shape your identity. If you're thinking weak, you're going to act weak. If you believe you're not capable, you won't even try. But if you start thinking strong, you start showing up different. You start fighting for what you want. You start moving like someone who believes in themselves, even when the odds are stacked. Thinking small is a trap. It's disguised as humility, but it's really fear. It tells you to play it safe, to not dream too big, to not make others uncomfortable. But what if I told you thinking big isn't arrogance? It's obedience to the calling inside you. You were never made to think small. You were built for impact, but impact starts with identity. You can't influence the world if you don't even believe you're valuable. When you change the way you think about yourself, your life starts to follow. Your thoughts set the thermostat. You can't live on level 10 if your mind is stuck on level 2. You've got to start stretching your thinking. You've got to start believing that you're not here just to survive. You're here to lead, to grow, to shine. But that shift starts internally. You can't fake it. You can't just say the words. You have to own them. Some people are waiting for external validation to believe there's something more. But true identity comes when you stop looking for permission and start owning your space. Start speaking life into yourself. Stop saying "I can't" and start saying "I will." Stop playing down your potential just because others feel uncomfortable around your purpose. Stop thinking small because the world told you that was safer. You've got to rewire your brain. Replace "I'm not enough" with "I'm more than capable." Replace "I've never done this" with "This is a new chapter." Your mind believes what you tell it the most. If you keep telling it you're not the one, it's going to believe that. But if you flood your thoughts with power, purpose, and vision, your life will begin to rise to match those beliefs. Thinking big doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you don't let fear decide your worth. It means you act according to your vision, not your limitations. You may not have the resources, the experience, or the roadmap, but if you've got the right mindset, you're already halfway there. Because once your identity shifts, your decisions shift. Once your identity grows, your future expands. It's not magic, it's mindset. Don't let your thoughts sabotage your destiny. Don't let a small mindset steal a big life. The mind is everything, and if you keep thinking small, you're going to live beneath your purpose. But if you dare to believe something greater, if you dare to think different, you'll start becoming different. Because your thoughts shape your identity, and your identity, that shapes everything else. Believe before you achieve. Vision comes first. That's the truth people often overlook. Everyone wants the results, but very few understand that the results don't show up until the belief is locked in. You don't achieve and then start believing. You believe first, even when there's nothing around you to validate it, even when it looks like nothing's working, even when no one claps for you, supports you, or sees what you see. Vision doesn't start with the world's confirmation. It starts in the mind. The mind is everything, and what you think you become. You've got to see yourself winning before you ever win. You've got to see yourself rising before you rise. You've got to believe in the version of you that's still under construction. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. The dreamers sit around waiting for the right moment, the right conditions, the perfect plan. The doers believe first, act on it, and let the world catch up to what they already know in their mind. The people who make impact, the ones who break records, who defy the odds, they all have something in common. They see something before it becomes real. They hold a vision in their minds that's so clear, so loud, so powerful, that no amount of delay, no amount of rejection, no amount of failure can break it. That's how strong belief works. It's not passive. It's not soft. It's aggressive. It pushes forward when everything else says stop. The reason most people never become what they're capable of becoming isn't because they don't have the skills. It's because they never gave themselves permission to believe. They never built the vision. They never imagined what it would look like to win. They never believed they were worthy. And if you don't believe, you won't move. If you don't see it, you won't chase it. Because your actions always follow your thoughts. Your habits follow your vision. Your hustle follows your belief. This is why vision is so powerful. It gives direction to your energy. It gives focus to your grind. It tells your mind where you're headed before your body even gets moving. When you believe in something, really believe, you start carrying yourself differently. You speak differently, you work differently, because now you're not guessing, you're expecting. You're not hoping, you're building. But understand this. Belief doesn't mean you have it all figured out. Belief means you trust that what's inside you is greater than anything standing in your way. You trust that if you keep showing up, if you keep thinking like a winner, eventually your life will catch up to your mindset. Because that's how it works. The mind leads, and the body follows. The belief comes first, and then the results. People wait for proof to believe. They say, once I get the job, I'll feel confident. Once I start winning, I'll feel like a winner. Once I succeed, I'll think I'm capable. That's backward. That's why they stay stuck. You can't wait for the world to approve your vision. You've got to approve it yourself. You've got to plant that seed in your mind, water it with action, and protect it from the noise. And eventually that seed grows into something unstoppable. You think the greats had all the answers? No. What they had was a mindset, a belief system that refused to be shaken by failure. They visualized victory so vividly that it became their reality. And it wasn't luck. It wasn't timing. It was the fact that they believed it before they achieved it. Vision came first. The belief came before the breakthrough. You've got to believe even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. When you're tired, when you're doubting, when nothing seems to be moving. That's when belief matters most. That's when your vision has to be louder than your circumstances. Because the reality you see now isn't permanent, but the reality in your mind, that's the blueprint. Train your mind to believe in where you're going. Visualize the person you're becoming. Speak it, write it, meditate on it. Let it become part of your identity. Let it shape your actions. And when life gets heavy, when the pressure comes, return to the vision. Anchor yourself in the belief that what you see in your mind is possible, even if no one else sees it yet. Because the mind is everything. And if you can think it, if you can believe it, you're already halfway to becoming it. Vision always comes first. Belief is the beginning of becoming. And what you think, you become. Every time. Speak power, not limitation. The words you speak are born from the thoughts you think, and those words have the ability to either build you or break you. Every time you open your mouth, you're either speaking life or you're speaking death over your potential. You're either reinforcing your strength or strengthening your excuses. That's why you have to be intentional about your language, because your words reveal your mindset, and your mindset shapes your destiny. The mind is everything, and what you think, you become. But those thoughts become even more real when you speak them out loud. Too many people walk around talking about what they can't do, what they've never done, what they think will go wrong. They're speaking limitation into existence. They're declaring their weaknesses like affirmations. I'm not good enough. I don't have the resources. I'm not confident like other people. And they say it like it's fact. But it's not fact. It's a belief they chose, over and over, until it became their identity. And once that identity is in place, everything they do starts to align with it. Because the mind listens. And when the mind hears the same message repeatedly, it starts treating it like truth. You don't need to lie to yourself. You don't need fake positivity. But you do need to be deliberate with your language. You need to speak power, even in the face of pressure. You need to speak growth, even when you feel stuck. You need to speak progress, even when the results haven't shown up yet. Because your words set the tone for your belief, and belief fuels action. When you tell yourself, I'm capable, you give yourself permission to show up like someone who is. When you say, I'll find a way, your brain goes to work solving problems instead of magnifying them. That shift starts in your mouth. Your self-talk is not just a habit, it's a strategy. Champions talk different. They don't just train their bodies, they train their vocabulary. They know that what they say becomes what they do. You can't expect to rise while constantly talking yourself down. You can't expect to win if every sentence starts with doubt. What you speak reflects what you think, and what you think becomes who you are. And it's not just about what you say to others. It's what you say to yourself when no one else is listening. That quiet internal dialogue, the conversations in your head, the way you narrate your life, all of that adds up. If your inner voice constantly tells you you're not ready, that you'll probably fail, that someone else is more qualified, then guess what? You won't even try. Or you'll try half-heartedly, already convinced of the outcome. But if that voice says, let's go, you've got this, keep pushing, then even when it's hard, even when it's ugly, you'll keep moving. This isn't magic. This is mental discipline. You have to catch the limiting language as soon as it shows up and flip it. Not ignore it, flip it. Replace, I've never done this with, this is my opportunity to grow. Replace, this is too hard with, this is building me. Replace I don't know how with, I'm figuring it out. Every word you speak has the power to reinforce your future or lock you into your past. Choose wisely. You are the product of the stories you repeat. And if you keep repeating, a story of struggle without victory, of failure without resilience, of pain without purpose, then that becomes your truth. But if you change the narrative, if you start declaring strength, grit, purpose, power, your life begins to move in that direction. You attract the energy you speak. You begin to take action in alignment with your words. This is why people who win talk differently. They speak what they want, not what they fear. They speak possibilities, not problems. They focus on what's next, not what went wrong. And you can too. You don't need to be perfect to speak power. You just need to be committed to a new standard of thinking. And that starts with how you talk to yourself and others. The mind is everything. And when you speak, you're shaping your mindset. So don't waste your words feeding the limits. Use your words to build faith, build confidence, build focus. Speak power, because what you speak, you start to believe. And what you believe, you start to become. Every sentence is a seed. Plant strength, plant purpose, plant growth. Speak like the person you're becoming, because if you think it and speak it consistently, you're on your way to becoming it. Consistent mental discipline builds greatness, not talent alone, not luck, not some overnight miracle. Greatness doesn't happen because you woke up one day and everything aligned. It happens because you made a decision to train your mind daily. You made a decision to take control of your thoughts, to lead them, to not be led by emotion, fear, or doubt. The mind is everything, and what you think you become. But that only becomes your truth when you apply discipline every single day, especially when it's not easy. Most people want success, but they don't want the process. They want the results, but not the repetition. But mental discipline is not optional if you want to become something greater. It's not just about thinking positive. It's about thinking on purpose, directing your thoughts toward growth even when you feel like giving up. Showing up with focus even when your feelings are all over the place. Because feelings are temporary, but your mindset can be permanent if you train it. Mental discipline is what keeps you in the game when motivation fades. Anyone can be motivated for a week. Anyone can feel inspired after watching a video or hearing a speech. But what about day 47 when no one's clapping, nothing's working, and your goals feel miles away? That's when mental discipline kicks in. That's when greatness starts to separate itself from average. Not in the moments when it's easy, but in the moments when you choose the right thoughts despite how you feel. Your mind wants to drift. It wants comfort. It wants to protect you from discomfort, from challenge, from risk. That's its job, to keep you safe. But greatness doesn't live in safety, it lives in stretch. It lives in the space between where you are and where you could be, if you had the discipline to think higher. And every time you choose focus over distraction, every time you choose belief over doubt, every time you choose effort over excuses, you're training your mind to serve you instead of sabotage you. You have to be intentional about it. Discipline isn't something that just happens to you. You have to own it. You have to wake up and decide, today my mind is going to work for me. Today, I'm going to think in alignment with my purpose, not my pain. Today, I'm going to choose thoughts that move me forward, not ones that hold me back. And you, do that again and again until it becomes who you are. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act consistently over time determines who you become. So if you want to become great, you can't afford to let your thoughts roam freely, undisciplined, and unchecked. You have to lead your mind like a warrior leads an army, with clarity, with purpose, with relentless repetition. You can't entertain every doubt, every distraction, every weak thought. Not if you want to build something real. Not if you want to become someone that lasts. Discipline is showing up to your vision even when no one else sees it. It's choosing thoughts that empower you when negativity is easier. It's choosing patience when you want results now. It's choosing growth over comfort, and it's not glamorous. It's not always exciting, but it works. It's the slow, steady grind of mental strength that creates the foundation for everything else in your life. You can't fake mental discipline. Either you train your mind or your mind trains you. Either you build the muscle or you stay at the mercy of your moods. But here's the truth. Your mind can be trained. You're not stuck, you're not broken, you're not limited. You just need to commit. Start small. Start by catching one negative thought and flipping it. Start by setting one powerful intention. The morning. Start by being aware of how you talk to yourself, and then repeat that over and over. That's how you build it, because consistent mental discipline becomes identity. It becomes automatic. And when your identity is rooted in discipline, in strength, in resilience, you stop chasing greatness and start becoming it. It's no longer a destination. It's who you are. And that all starts in your thoughts. Not once, not sometimes, but every day. The mind is everything. And when you choose to discipline it daily, to feed it with purpose, to protect it from weakness, you start to transform. You think like a winner. You move like a leader. You build like a warrior. And eventually, what you once only imagined becomes your reality, because you had the discipline to think your way into greatness. What you think, you become, every single time. So stop waiting for someone to hand you confidence. Build it. Nobody is coming to give you permission. Nobody is going to show up and say, "Now's the time, you're ready." That's on you. Confidence isn't gifted, it's built. One brick at a time. Every time you show up when it's hard. Every time you speak when your voice shakes. Every time you try again after falling. That's where confidence is formed. In the reps, in the repetition, in the decision to keep moving even when your legs are trembling and your mind is flooded with doubt. Confidence grows in the shadows, not the spotlight. So stop sitting around, waiting for it to magically appear. You earn it by choosing action over fear again and again. Stop waiting for motivation. Create it. Motivation is a feeling, it's unreliable. It fades, it shifts, and it won't always be there when you need it. But your discipline, your why, that's what you build your foundation on. Waiting to feel like it is a trap. Because most days you won't feel like it. You'll be tired, you'll be stressed, you'll be overwhelmed. And if you're depending on motivation, you'll quit before you even get started. But if you create your own fire, by committing to your vision, by locking in your focus, by doing it anyway, then you become unstoppable. You don't need a hype video. You don't need someone pushing you. You push yourself. Because you've decided this matters too much to sit back and wait. You move first, and motivation will follow your lead. And stop waiting for the perfect moment. There ain't no perfect moment. You make the moment perfect by stepping into it with the right mindset. Too many people wait for signs, for stars to align, for everything to feel just right. But life doesn't work like that. There will always be chaos, uncertainty, resistance. If you wait for the perfect time, you'll be waiting forever. The people who move the needle, who shift their lives, who become something greater, they take messy action. They make the moment right by owning it, by walking into the unknown with courage, with presence, with belief. Perfection isn't the presence is. Power comes from within. Not from the outside conditions lining up perfectly. You bring the heat. You bring the standard. You bring the mindset. That's how the moment becomes yours. Let's go. Enough thinking. Enough overanalyzing. Enough watching other people build their lives while you question your own. This is your time. Right here, right now. Not when things settle down. Not when you feel more ready. Now. You've got everything inside you that you need. Discipline, power, purpose. But you've got to activate it. No more playing small, no more silencing your voice. It's time to move, it's time to become. Train your thoughts. Because your mind is a battlefield, and you can't win a war you don't prepare. For every single day, you've got to show up and put in the mental reps. When a weak thought shows up, you challenge it. When doubt creeps in, you speak back with truth. When fear gets loud, you get louder. Your thoughts won't just shift by accident. You've got to train them. You've got to guide them. You've got to become the coach in your own mind, calling plays that lead to power, not paralysis. Protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your mental space. Not every opinion matters. Not every voice should be allowed into your circle. Your energy is your fuel. And when you let it get drained by negativity, comparison, or drama, you start to lose yourself. Guard it. Be intentional with what you consume, who you spend time with, and what you focus on. Energy is not just physical, it's mental. Protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. Speak power. Your words are not just sound, they're seeds. And what you plant today, you live tomorrow. Stop speaking failure over your life. Stop repeating the language of defeat. Speak what you want. Speak who you are becoming. Speak strength, even when you feel weak. Your mind is listening. Your spirit is listening. Your future is listening. So speak with purpose. Speak with intention. Speak with the authority of someone who knows they're built for more. Because what you think, you will become. It's not a cliche. It's the truth. You are living the result of your repeated thoughts. You are shaped, not by what happens to you, but by what you choose to think about it. The mind is everything. Think fear. You live. Afraid. Think power, you rise. Think lack, you shrink. Think purpose, you grow. So choose wisely. Choose strength. Choose ownership. Choose transformation. Let's go.